The Hilton sale is on. Now through September 29th, you can save up to 20% on stays this fall and beyond. Long weekends, last-minute getaways, holiday gatherings. There's a Hilton stay for all of them. More moments, more experiences, more destinations. Now 20% off for a limited time because it matters where you stay. Don't wait. Book by September 29th and save up to 20% at Hilton.com. Terms apply. Hilton for the stay.
Mint is still $15 a month for premium wireless. And if you haven't made the switch yet, here are 15 reasons why you should. 1, it's $15 a month. 2, seriously, it's $15 a month. 3, no big contrast. 4, I use it. 5, my mom uses it. Are you playing me off? That's what's happening, right? Okay, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan. $15 per month equivalent required. New customer offer first 3 months only. Then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
You're listening to A Catholic's Perspective with the Religious Hippie. That's me, the podcast all about being a young Catholic surviving in a secular world. Around here, we pray first, pop off second. Whether you're struggling, thriving, or somewhere in between, this podcast is for you. So grab an iced coffee and let's chat. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the pod. I am so glad you are with us today because today I have a special guest joining us. Today we have Emma Fradd. Welcome, Emma. Thank you so much for being here.
Cheers. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. We kind of got connected through a mutual friend. And when I heard you were a musician and you were doing all this stuff, I'm like, oh my gosh, she has to come on the podcast and talk about this.
Awesome. Yeah, no, it's good to be here.
I would love, for any of my listeners who maybe aren't familiar with you, do you have just like a brief overview of who you are, what you do type of thing before we get into the nitty gritty?
Sure. So I'm a Catholic musician, but I don't play praise and worship. It's more like I kind of write, I would say like alternative rock pop. But because I am super Catholic, all the music is very much informed by my personal relationship with Jesus. But yeah, my songs, I don't know, I have a bit of a range of genres. I kind of have like some softer acoustic songs, but then some kind of heavier rocky songs. So as a musician, that's who I am. I'm also a mum and I'm married and I'm Australian and I live in America, and that's probably about it.
I love it. When did you come to America from Australia?
It was just over a year ago.
Oh, wow. So you're new to the States. Okay, that's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. My husband's from America, and the main reason we wanted to move here was just because of the schooling. Catholic schools in Australia aren't super great. So yeah, that was the main reason, and houses are cheaper. So
I can. It's kind of crazy how certain things in different countries are cheaper versus not cheaper, and so yeah, no, that's awesome. I love to interview musicians and artists and things like that because I feel like the way that you guys communicate with the world is just so different in a way. And I have been binge listening to your music because I genuinely love it, but also I feel like there's nobody really in the Catholic world doing the music that you do. When I hear Catholic people put out music, and I love it, like that's totally fine. It doesn't. It sounds Catholic. I don't know how to describe. It's like K-pop or K-love. K-pop is something completely different. K-love. And that's a type, but I've never been a K-love music fan. And so when I started listening to your music, it's inspiring, but it also just sounds like something I would just put on. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, cool.
Yeah. I really do enjoy that part of it.
Can you still hear me? Sorry.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
My husband's earpods just connected to the computer, but I've
sometimes
him now.
Sometimes the tech stuff doesn't. I will say, but something that I do love about your sound is like something that I would listen to while I'm on like just a drive or something. Where do you get your inspiration? Like, where do you get your sound from, and who inspires you?
Yeah, cool. So you mentioned kind of the sound of Catholic music being very, very the same, and that was something that confused me. Because I grew up, I was raised Catholic. I sort of became an atheist, and I got into a lot of different music. Like music was very much my religion, if you could say, in high school. And then when I finally kind of came back to Christ, I was introduced to this like Catholic music, and I was like, oh, it's kind of really simple. And I was hearing a lot of kind of praise and worship, and I heard some really beautiful stuff, like some some choir, some choral pieces, and some chant, which are beautiful, but like not something I would want to listen to all the time. Like I still liked all of the grunge and rock music that I liked growing up. So I don't know. I was just kind of like, well, I don't want to try and write music that I wouldn't listen to. So I just write music that that's sort of, I don't know how similar it sounds to the music I do listen to. But yeah, some of my favorite bands and influences, I guess. My favorite band of all time is a girl band, a sister girl band called Haim from Los Angeles. Have you heard of them?
I haven't. That's so cool.
they're yeah, a lot of their songs are like they're getting more and more like inappropriate as they release albums as they get more famous. But if you listen to their earlier stuff, just amazing. Like, yeah, they're just really great instrumentalists and melody writers, and they all sing harmony. And the lead singer does all the drums, and she's like this incredible drummer.
Mm.
So I love that band, and I love another artist called Caroline Polachek. She's like super alternative and just writes really strange stuff. I think I like it when I hear music that's unlike something I've heard before, and I guess
Yeah.
that's what I try and do in to some degree.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. When my husband and I were listening to your music, because my husband also loves, all different types of music, alternative and everything. And I grew up on like the grunge, punk rock kind of stuff and
Nice.
classic rock and stuff. Yeah. And so when I would try and listen to K-pop or anything, I'm like, this just isn't my thing. I'm like, I can't, I'm also not like a rap fan. I'm not super into pop music. Like it was one of those things that I really did like. I guess for lack of a better word, like weird music. I don't I don't know how to explain it. And when you like weird music, you're usually kind of frowned upon in the Christian Catholic circles
Yep.
because weird music usually means it's about like drugs or all this other stuff that's going on. And when it comes to making music, I guess that's a kind of a huge part of it, actually, is like you're Catholic and your faith is a huge part of your life. And in the music industry, it's very normal that once a band or a person becomes super famous, they start becoming more scandalous. They start wearing more inappropriate things. They start wearing more inappropriate things. And I mean, Sabrina Carpenter, Taylor Swift, all of these people, and they are the voice, so to speak, of the generations, like the ones
Mhm.
they look up to them and people are inspired by them. And it's like, it's not a good role model. And yet it's so easy to get sucked into that. How do you navigate that as a Catholic in the music industry?
Well, currently in America, I would say I'm not really in the secular music industry. When I was living in Australia, I was a part of like a secular band called Heaps Good Friends, and yeah, we were very much a part of that industry. it was it was crazy. There's this radio station in Australia called Triple J, and they let you upload, like anyone can upload their music onto their website, and they they say that they listen to all of it, and they listened to one of our band songs and offered us a spot um, on this pretty big festival in Australia. And then from there, we kind of just took off for a couple of years doing lots of touring and stuff. And yeah, it was very hectic. Like I think you're right. The music industry is very secular, and like yeah, I just remember getting offered like cocaine backstage and having to be like, I still want to be your friend, but I don't want to do cocaine with you. And yeah, just it's very pro everything that's popular these days, pro gay, pro abortion, pro yeah, just lots of things that I just have different stances on. And it's tricky. I think unless you're really grounded and you're really putting God first in your life, you're praying every day, you have a good support around you, it can be tricky. But honestly, I think the reason I was able to kind of go through it so well is because um, the other guy in my band, his name's Nick. He's not Christian at all, but he's just a really like stand up guy, and he's accepting of everyone. And I know a lot of people say that they are until you say like, "Oh, I'm not for this," and then you get cut
Yep.
off. But he is like truly like he really tries to understand my Catholic beliefs, and um, yeah, and I kind of just made him aware, like, yeah, of what I'm comfortable with, what I'm not comfortable with, and sometimes we would have some tense conversations. But I think at the end of the day, our friendship was just more important than yeah, big world issues that we were never really going to see eye to eye on. So yeah, to be honest, like if I ever did, if I ever did get big in the industry or whatever, I think it would be very hard. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, well, it's saturated in everything. And I think a lot of people have realized that, in the industry, if you do want to get big, you do have to do certain things in order to get there. I mean, there are higher ups that determine whether or not you get to where you are. Taylor Swift and Sabrina Carpenter didn't just become famous overnight. And
Mhm.
so it's interesting to see also how that music industry has changed. But when it really does come to, I think, impacting people, like you're saying with your friend Nick, it's like you do have to have that foundation of friendship first, because they need to know that you care about them and you're not just like, I guess, like trying to rile them up, or getting them to change their minds just because you want to be right or win an argument or something like that. It's like the friendship really is important, and you win hearts first. And then when they realize that you're in it for them, and that you truly care about them, I think that's really what changes hearts and minds.
Mhm.
um, but I've noticed, at least in myself, like growing up, I listened to all the rock music. My dad used to play classic rock and everything. And the music industry has really changed. And I'd love to get your perspective on that, because with streaming platforms, I feel like, when I was a kid and when my dad was a kid, we used to go to bars and we used to hear live music. And that happens in like Tennessee and certain other places. But how has the music industry changed in your eyes? What's become more difficult about it, do you think, now with like streaming platforms and stuff like that?
Oh, I'll answer as best I can. I feel like someone who's been around longer and has had more success than me could answer better. But from my perspective, like streaming is just silly. You make sense on streaming, and unfortunately, it's just the easiest way for people to listen to music these days. And like, I'll go out and do gigs, and it's funny, in Australia, no one buys or listens to CDs, but in America, Americans, for some reason, I don't know if it's because like maybe their cars are a bit older, they still have CD players.
Maybe.
Sometimes if I play gigs, usually I will, like, people will buy my CDs, which is cool. But I think streaming has really like lowered the amount of physical things you can sell, and ways for musicians to make money and continue touring and going on the road. Um, I also find it's I think Spotify has the same thing, has the same issue as Netflix. Like, I remember when I was younger, I would just like thrash a band's album like start to finish. I would learn all the lyrics, I would know every B-side. But yeah, sorry, what I was meaning about Spotify and Netflix, it's like you spend so much time like scrolling and looking for stuff. When it comes time to actually listening, you're just like, oh, I'm bored. Like,
Yeah.
like I don't know too many people who will like commit to a full album and, listen to that over and over versus just like the singles or, hot songs from several different artists instead of like one album that's kind of designed as one piece of work. Um, yeah, and I even feel it in my shows sometimes. Like, I feel like we had a show where we have an upcoming show next week here in Steubenville, and I'll play for like 45 minutes, like half an hour to 45 minutes, and they asked me to play for an hour, and I was just like, I don't know, like I don't think people have the attention span for that. And
True.
I guess it depends how well I play, and I'll have a band with me for that, which will make it a bit more interesting. But I'm even like very aware of that, like yeah, even just like, everyone's on their phone these days. I remember when it was like not cool to be on your phone in church.
Yep.
And
I miss
now
those days.
and now, yeah, like some people, yeah, just I don't know. As soon as I see people checking their phone, I'm like, well, like I lost them. Like there's an infinite amount of possibilities they could be looking at on their phone, and I'm just me playing music. Like,
Yeah.
so I don't know. As technology has developed, it's harder to keep people's attention, and I think it's harder to make money as a musician because people just go to their monthly subscription, and
Mm.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I think my husband and I talk about it a lot. Analog music is something my husband's very passionate about, like physical media,
awesome.
because it's something we've lost. And also, that was the main way that artists used to make money, was through CDs. And that's how even actors used to make money, was when the movie would sell a DVD and people would go out and buy that DVD.
Hmm.
And now we don't have that because of the streaming platforms, and everything's kind of homogenized. And when you have so many options, you have no options basically.
Yep.
And a lot of the time, Spotify or these more popular streaming platforms will just push what is popular. I think that's probably one of my biggest complaints about Spotify is when I log on and I want to discover new artists or I want to listen to different songs that are not popular. I don't want to hear Espresso for like the 17th time by Sabrina Carpenter. Like, I want to hear something unique. And yet, all that Spotify does really is just push things that are popular
Hmm.
and what people are listening to the most. And it's like, you just you really can't find your own taste in music. Everyone suddenly you just can't discover music the way you used to. I
Hmm.
feel like people used to get discovered by playing gigs at bars and things like that, and people used to be really into it. And now, yeah, like you're saying, everybody's on their phones, nobody's really engaged, everyone's attention spans kind of all over the place. And how does that like affect your relationship with the people in the crowd? Like, do you notice that you can get them back at times, or is it literally just once they go on their phones, it's just a lost cause?
I think my example with the phone certainly isn't common. Like I think I'm very lucky that I think I can hold the attention of a crowd. So usually that's a kind of a rare case. But yeah, it's tricky. It honestly has a lot to do with like the venue and how you're introduced and what kind of event people think it is. And because a lot of the events I'm doing are with a diocese or a Newman Center or like a young adult
Oh,
group, it's really I kind of uh, I try and paint the picture for whoever's bringing me in. Um, and I they probably think I'm some diva, but I'm like, look, if you have a gig, we need a room. Like, first of all, there's nothing worse than playing to a small crowd in a big room. So I need a nice, if it's a small crowd, like 50, 100 people, let's not have a gigantic room. Let's have like a small room so it feels nice and intimate. Second of all, no tables. If you have tables, people just think that I'm background music and they're talking to each other. So like chairs facing the stage. And I usually have them kind of introduce me so it feels like a thing, something's happening. If
yeah.
there's lights, dim the lights so there's lights on the stage. It's like you really have to like tell people what to do. And I don't know if this is just because I don't know if it's a Catholic thing or if it's just a 2025 thing and people aren't used to going to like gigs anymore. Or it might just be because it's not in a music venue. Like I feel like I didn't really have this issue in Australia when I was playing in like proper music venues. But
Mm,
it's hard. Like as soon as like I've played gigs before where it's like, and it's just you just know right away like they're not listening. I'm just here for background music, and I'm so allergic to that. I can't do it. I mostly because a lot of my set includes like storytelling, and I'm kind of breaking down the songs, and um, why would I do that to a room of people that's not listening? And there's nothing wrong if you want to be background music, but when I get into that space, I'm like, look, just put on a playlist or
mm.
have a cover band play. Like, um, so yeah, I don't know if that answers your question. Maybe I went on a bit of a tangent there, but
No, yeah. I think it's really important in ways for people to know about this, especially in the Catholic world, because I think this actually is sort of a Catholic problem in some ways.
I would love to know all of your thoughts on this.
I think, from my own experience and from like, and I can't like specifically name names or anything because I think it's just like a broad sort of thing. As a speaker, I think I've also kind of witnessed this where it's like, I kind of have to tell them like this is my vibe, this is how I'm going to walk around the stage, this is what I need, etc. And they're very accommodating, but usually they don't know how to cater in a way to make events interesting. They think that maybe throwing up a couple balloons or a streamer, it literally feels like a middle school dance sometimes. And I love the people because they mean so well, but they're underfunded in a lot of ways for these types of events, even though these are the type of thing that young adults need to see. They need to see that being Catholic is not just, you know, going to mass and reading prayer books and having a strict prayer routine and all that stuff. It's also living in the world but not of the world. And with that, we still get to have parties. We still get to do all these events, but just because I don't know how to explain it. It's almost as if they're allergic to whatever might look modern or might look I don't need secular in a way. I don't know how to explain that. um but I don't know if you've noticed that, but it's more of like, oh, if we make it look super cool or super, fancy or whatever, either they don't have the funds for it or they don't have someone who knows how to organize that type of event, and that could be very real. Or it's that they don't want it to look like a secular concert because they don't want to be compared to like our Protestant brothers and sisters or to like secular society. I think it just kind of depends on who you talk to and like what their budget is. But
Yeah.
I know exactly what you mean. It just feels like there are a lot of people who don't know how to plan for concerts and things like that, unless it's like NCYC or something huge like that. You know what I mean?
So you're saying that you think the aesthetics of like the stage and the venue have a lot to do with like how the crowd will respond.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's interesting. I've never really thought about that. And it's funny, like I've played in a lot of places and you're right, a lot of people like aren't quite they don't quite have the budget. And for me, I'm like, I don't care. Like, oh, let's just make it work. Like, let's play whatever. Like, I'll play wherever. And I think I just accept like sometimes you're playing in like smelly old church hall or something or
Yeah.
but but yeah, I never thought about that. Yeah,
I
that's
think it
interesting.
just our senses, our visual senses are very close to um our experiences and our emotions and things. And I feel like if the space it's very similar to mass, if the space itself is not beautiful or reverent or this or that, it makes it very hard to kind of focus and to have your eyes on heaven in some aspect.
Totally.
Whereas um, when you're in, at least in my experience, like let's say you're in a school gymnasium, but it's just that they don't have like any mood lighting, there's
Mm,
tables like you're saying, or certain things, there just certain spaces force you to conduct yourself a certain way is kind of
mhm,
how it goes. And I think aesthetics are huge with you know all generations, but especially in 2025, I think aesthetics is like a huge part of
mhm.
what people want to see. And I think I blame social media for that, and I'd love to hear your thoughts about that, how social media also kind of makes or breaks concerts these days, because you have to almost have a certain aesthetic to catch people's attention on social media. And then you almost have to match that aesthetic in real life too. Um,
You mean like if you want to get a gig somewhere, you need like a good looking video or something? Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Have you noticed that at all?
Uh,
I could be totally wrong. I'm not in the music
no,
industry, so I don't know.
no. I don't know. I think you could definitely be right. I feel like I've been really lucky in that I have like a couple of really quality videos that I can show people and be like, this is a great example of how I sound. And I think I usually can somewhat replicate that. Um, but on the flip side, maybe I'm the problem here. Like there are some bands that I think are awesome, and I go onto their social media, like some indie kind of Catholic friends, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like you don't have anything that shows how good you are. Like if you did, like then maybe you would, get more gigs and more opportunities. So, um, yeah, it's tricky because oh man, it's expensive. Like if you want a quality video done of yourself, videographers charge so much money.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
It's just I think it is one of those things where it's like also, and again, I might be totally wrong about this, and I think it's also hard because like I said, how people get discovered nowadays, it's like they just post something on YouTube or they just post an Instagram video of them singing or something, and they go on The Voice or they do something like that. But what it used to be was you'd play a bar, somebody would
Mhm.
recognize you, and then they'd either be like, hey, do you have any demos, can I record with you, or can we sign you or something. It really was based off of talent. Like you had to be a
Mhm.
performer, you had to be right then right there, be able to prove that you could sing, you could play an instrument or something, or you could write your own music. you had to be talented. And nowadays, I feel like with the influx of so many machines that now create artists, it's, I don't want to like poo poo on anybody's specific music or anything like that, but I hardly consider it to be music that involves actual talent,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of people, they auto tune their voice to like, it's different if it's like an artistic choice. If it's an
Right.
artistic choice, because that used to be something huge in like the early 2000s, 2010s, people had a really great voice, but they still chose to auto tune for style.
Mm-hmm.
Um, or it's like they only use machines. There's no actual band or
Yeah.
you know, do you know what I'm saying? Like it just feels like everything's become very like just put out as much music as you can. Doesn't matter if it's good or not. Doesn't matter if you actually have
Totally.
talent.
Yes, 100%. I see what you're saying now. My husband and I have a Catholic record label called Enemy Love Records. And a couple of years ago, well, this is sort of how we met and how we started talking. He sort of said to me like that he wanted to start this Catholic record label. And I was like, I don't like, that's not a good idea. Like, I don't like any Catholic music. But then I went on this like endeavor. I was like, all right, if it's out there, like I want to find it. Like, I'm pretty opinionated and picky, but it was just that thing of like, it all sounds the same. Like, where's the stuff that sounds really unique and creative? Um, and unfortunately, yeah, like I'll find these people and I'll be like, oh my gosh, you're amazing. And it's exactly what you said. It's like, they're just kind of putting music out. And some people are just kind of hoping like, you know, to sell stuff or to get big. And it's like, but you're not gigging. Like you need to be out there, like
Mhm.
building this community around your, not that it's all about this, but it's about around your brand, like any other business would. And I know that people don't necessarily see it that way, but um, even just on a human level, like just to connect with an audience, exactly what you said, to play your song in real time and like show this part of yourself and have it received. Um, there's something else you said that I jived with, but I think it slipped my brain.
It's
Oh,
okay.
what you're saying about people just like putting out as much music as possible. Um, yeah, 1,000% I see that. And back in the day, it like cost thousands of dollars to go to a professional studio and record music. So you would write 50 songs and be like, okay, what are the top 5? What are the top 10 that we want to put money into? But now, because people can just do it from home, there's just like so much content. And it's like, oh, too much for me to keep up with.
No, I agree. And not to mention like that whole issue of people now not even going through record labels or anything. They're just self-publishing music. Um, and so there's no quality control, really.
Right.
It's quantity over quality.
And that is something that if you gig live, you should be able to figure out, you know, like which songs do crowds respond to, like which are the hits, you know, and just talking to people and asking people, that can be really helpful too.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that because I mean, it's so true that it's like when you really do need that experience in order to figure out what kind of I mean, what your audience is like, and not that you should conform who you are to your audience, but figure out like what type of music resonates with them the most. And
Mhm.
if it's your music, it should resonate with you as well. Um, I also think that being an artist today is very difficult because, as they say, there's nothing new under the sun. So, coming up with new, authentic, uh, different songs can be very difficult because it's almost like people are very hardcore in the music industry as well, where they'll compare your music to somebody else's. They'll be like, oh, you're like this person, or oh, it's not just your music. And I feel like it can be very difficult to make a name for yourself as an artist. I don't know for sure if you've experienced that, but it's something that I've kind of on the outside looking in as someone. I'm like, oh, this person's music sounds like this person's. And then it's hard to separate the two. I don't know if
Yeah.
you've.
Yeah, totally. And yeah, it's like picking a name for your child. It's like if you know someone with that name, you know, and you didn't have a good experience with them, it's like, I don't know. Yeah, but I guess that's the thing I'm chasing, to like just try and be original. And I totally get that. Yeah, on my new album, a lot of the songs aren't really original. They just kind of sound like rock songs. But that's what's so exciting about writing music and recording music, is like trying to write, especially if you do tend towards wanting to sound a little weird or a little alternative, trying to find like what's a weird chord I can go to here, or like, okay, this song is great. We're a minute into it, and now like let's take it to a completely different place and just like change the expectation of the listener, you know. And there are nuanced and more obvious ways you can do that. Um, but that's part of why I love really writing music.
Yeah. I mean, it's just such a beautiful like journey that you go on with a song, and you can just take it wherever you want because it's your song.
Right.
And I think you've talked about a lot about how you do a lot of story writing in your songs. Are there um any songs in particular where there's stories that, you know, you specifically feel like are important for people to know about or that speak to you specifically?
Hmm. Yeah. There's probably like 3 or 4 songs probably like half the songs in the set for this particular tour I kind of break down. And I think the one that seems to connect with people the most is a song I wrote a few years ago called Invisible Ink. And it's just guitars and lots of vocals and some violin and cello. It's like a very simple song. And the song is written about anxiety. And I always tell people, like, I feel dumb saying that because I feel like it's so, I don't know, obvious. I feel like everyone struggles with anxiety, but I feel like it's not just common, it's also popular. Like, I feel like the secular world kind of puts you on a pedestal a bit, and you can do no wrong. And maybe you don't even have to worry about responsibilities in a way. Not the case with everyone, but I definitely felt that temptation while I was struggling with it. And I was basically working for the Archdiocese of Brisbane at the time. I was like helping with the young adult music and youth ministry. And I was just overthinking everything. Like, I just really wanted these kids to like have an experience of God, or at least not a bad experience of youth ministry. I think I was in youth ministry for so long. I just was so sensitive to anything that was cheesy or just something that would throw them off. Like, I would just hate to be the reason that one of these kids is just like nah and says no to Catholicism, and just was really overthinking it a lot. And um, it got to the point where I had to quit my job basically because I couldn't go in some days. And I remember just praying so hard. Like, I would go through, there was one point where I went through every single gospel where Jesus healed someone.
Mm.
Every day I would meditate on a new story, and I'd be like, God, just heal me like you healed this blind man or this leper. Like, just heal me, and then I can go evangelize. Like, that's what you want me to do anyway, you know, when your plan's like way better than God's and he doesn't listen.
True.
um, but that just wasn't happening. And the big game changer for me was going to therapy. And I basically took 2 years of pretty intense therapy. And not to be too long winded, but basically what I learned was my brain does this thing where I really harshly judge my own feelings. So I sort of tell myself a lot, Emma, you should do this. Like, why aren't you doing this? You should do this, like right away whenever I feel something. And it wasn't really allowing me to kind of, as lame as this may sound, just like accept myself and accept my feelings for where they're at without judging them right away. And oh my gosh, like just night and day, the difference in my day to day life. Like, I'm going to call them breakdowns, like just
I feel.
crying, just, yeah, like crying, screaming, just feeling like anger and just like uncertainty and, you know, a lot of why God, why moments. But somehow just going through therapy and just bringing like everyday experiences to my therapist and going through them, it just was so helpful. And in this strange way, like, I wanted God to heal me like right away, but in this strange way, God used me to help me, if that
Mm.
makes sense. Like, he didn't need to. He could have just healed me right away. But I feel like because he used me, it helped, like that was part of the healing. A lot of my anxiety was coming from I'm not good enough, like I'm a lost cause, like I'll never be able to do X. And going through therapy, God showed me like actually you can actually take responsibility. I've made you in such a way that you can actually think about this and be gentle on yourself. And yeah, and man, it's just, as I said, just a huge game changer for me. So that's kind of what the song is about. But there's no pretty bow on the end of the song. It's not like, and then I was healed. It's just like life is hard and I'm sad. And
I love it.
I wanted the song to be like that because it's kind of a whole part of the therapy experience. It's like just recognize the feelings before you judge them, before you say like what's good and what's bad. Because yeah, that feeling of anxiety is just horrible and awful. And yeah, so people tend to connect with that, which is great. I want people to know, like, if you have anxiety, if you know someone with it, there is actually healing. Like, you don't have to just manage your life this way. And everyone is different and heals at different times for different reasons. But like, God wants to fully heal you. Like, God wants you to be completely free to receive his love, to love him, and to love others. And it's totally possible. So,
Yeah, no, it's beautiful. And I think a lot of people, I think especially in the Catholic world, can see therapy as this taboo topic. And I think I've talked a lot about how important it is for people because, we're so interconnected, minds, soul, spirit, whatever. And it's like we are both a body and a soul. And sometimes our body gets sick, sometimes our soul gets sick. If our soul gets sick, we go to confession. If our body gets sick, well, either it's medicine or sometimes we need therapy. And also, a lot of people can see themselves in music. Music therapy is a huge thing as well. Have you seen how therapy has impacted your music writing? Has it gotten easier for you to write music? Is it kind of easier for you to put those emotions out there? Or is there still like some struggles that you face with that?
it's been really helpful. Like, I tend to just write. I kind of just write about my own experiences anyway. My husband David says that I should try branching out and writing other things, and maybe I should. But I find the music the most easy to write is just, yeah, what I experience, and especially if there's like an aha moment or a moment in prayer that really sticks to me. Like, yeah, I'll find that is great, just like ammunition to like go into the studio and write something. So
Yeah, we all need that inspiration. And at the end of the day, it comes from God, If we do
for sure.
things for him and through him, then those things become beautiful and ways of healing, not just for us, but for other people, definitely.
Mhm.
And I think especially with how the music industry is these days, I my husband and I have talked about this too, and I'd love to get your take on this. A lot of the times in the Catholic world and in the creator world, when you're Catholic, everything you do has to be about Catholicism. Everything you post about, everything you talk about, and this is something I've struggled with, is like, I'm Catholic, yes, but I also have a life, not outside of Catholicism. Catholicism is my life, but it's not every waking moment am I reading the Summa Theologiae. And
Mhm.
I feel like a lot of the times online, people feel as though they need to have that persona. And I think that also kind of comes through with music, with Catholic music. They're like, oh, well, this song has to be about a saint. It has to be about a
Yeah.
virtue. It has to be about God. And it's like, it can be about your life, though, because
Mhm.
truly what the gospel is living the gospel out in our everyday life, but everybody's life is different. Um, and so your music doesn't even have to mention God sometimes. They should be able to experience God through your words, but it doesn't always need to be explicitly like in your face. Does that make sense?
Totally, 100%. And I feel like it's the same issues with, like, Catholic movies.
Yes.
Just picture, like, every poorly done, like, cheap Catholic film. It's like, oh, it's trying too hard. And I think that's what I didn't like when I heard Catholic music. It's like, it sounds like it's trying to be Catholic. It sounds like someone sat down and wrote, "This is what I should write," versus, like, just feeling it or
Yes,
having fun. Yeah.
exactly. It's what I should write. Sorry. Yes, so true. Sorry, continue.
No, no, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. But, yeah.
It's just like it feels like there's almost like this stigma attached to it. Where it's like, "Oh, you're Catholic, oh, you're a Catholic artist. Where's your paintings of Jesus? Where's your the It's like you can see God in the art. You might have to look a little bit, but you should still be able to experience him within art and
Mhm.
within music and the film industry. But when it's too on the nose, when it's too perfect, so to speak, I feel like it feels disingenuous in some
Yeah,
ways. In some
yeah.
ways.
No, totally. And that's what just makes it all kind of sound the same and not unique. Like, God made us unique. And that's a lot of advice I give to a lot of people who send me their music. It's like, it's just, it's not, it doesn't sound unique. Like it sounds like I've heard this all before, and maybe that's offensive to some people, but
They
um,
got to hear it though.
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, I've totally been accused before of like not being Catholic enough in my music, and it's like, do you even know what that means? Like, what does that mean? Like, how should a Catholic's music sound? Like, the answer is infinite. Like, it could be anything, and it doesn't have to be a ministry. It doesn't have to be praise and worship. It doesn't have to say the name Jesus in every song. Like, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's definitely something that I enjoyed K love music when I was first coming into my faith, but as I've matured in my faith, and I'm not dissing on people who like K love, like that's fine, but as I matured in my faith, it just kind of felt cheesy in a lot of ways. I couldn't really connect with it because it felt very, I don't know how to, I mean, all music is emotions based in some ways, but it felt more cheesy as opposed to like actually feeling like it's getting a story through, or it feels like you're experiencing music. It just felt very like Jesus saved my life, and I'm like, yes. I mean, and it's good, but I don't know, it just felt, I don't want to say cheap or anything like that because that's not it, but it, do you know what I'm saying? It's
I do. Yeah,
yeah.
there are, you can certainly write and you can certainly enjoy that kind of music, but it doesn't mean that all Christian or Catholic music has to be like that.
Right, exactly. And
Yeah.
what, I guess, what are like, I'm curious, like, what are some hard things that you're facing as like a musician in the modern era, I guess you could say. But then also, like, what are your favorite parts about it? Like how you connect with people, or um anything, just like the hardest parts and like the best parts.
Sure. Okay, I'll start with the hardest parts, I guess. The hardest part is that if you're Catholic, it's basically impossible to make it in the secular industry because you just get blacklisted and written off. So that's why with this tour, I'm like, well, I'm going to go play to some Catholics. I know that we have like minds. So, um, but yeah, it's like I would love to play at like Seek. Like I would love to get a full band and just thrash that main stage. But I think the one bummer is that there's not a culture for Catholic music.
Mm,
So Focus, incredible ministry. You may be aware, but they every year they have like a Protestant or a secular band play
yeah.
on their main stage. And the reason they do it is pretty genius. Like they're trying to get people to come who maybe are unsure if they're going to come or not. And I know for a fact that that has made people come, and they have had, life-changing moments at that conference, which is beautiful. But the bummer is, it's like, oh my gosh, like this isn't me ripping on them, but this is the biggest young adult conference in the country, and the bands that playing aren't even Catholic.
Yeah.
It's like, how can Catholics get up there like where they should be? Um, and I don't know if they can, because it's like they're never going to get popular enough to that point. So I would love it if Focus would do, even if they did like a 20-minute opening act for their like big band, and just to give some exposure. So I think the hardest part is probably exposure, and
Mm,
just like I'll play some gigs are like 20 people, some gigs are 100 people, some gigs are 500 people. Um, but I really believe I have something to offer, and that I can, like, I have so much experience, and I think I would love to play those big concert feels. But it just doesn't seem to be a lot of opportunity, I would say, for Catholic bands to do that. Now the best bits are, it's just really cool. Like, this probably sounds really vain, but it's really cool to just like be in a room of people talking, and you start playing guitar, and everyone stops and they listen. And it's not like, oh, everyone's looking at me, but it's like, oh, cool. Like I created something in my bedroom. And maybe it is great because like people are really vibing with it, and it's like this kind of unspoken like connection. I really love having that connection with the audience, and especially talking to them and meeting them after. It's really cool just to hear people's stories. And as I said before, like I don't really see my music as a ministry per se, but a lot of my songs are clearly Christian, Catholic influenced, and people do connect with that. And it's really cool to hear that people are getting something from my music, or even just the fact that like, oh my gosh, like 50 people came out tonight to like hear some live music and connect with each other and socialize. And I had an incredible gig at a Newman Center at Purdue University in West Lafayette, Indiana, a couple weeks ago, and there was like 100 people there, and they had like ice cream sundaes beforehand, and they were like very energetic and very responsive. I got like a standing ovation after every song. It was
Wow.
like the energy in the room. I was like, I said to them, I was like, I know now why people smash their guitars. Like, this is it's hyping me up like caffeine. But just like, it's so cool just to see like a beautiful community come together to socialize, to hear live music, and just to like participate in it as well, like to sing, to dance, and it's cool to facilitate that.
Yeah. I think it's, our emotions connect us to people, and I feel like because music allows an I guess kind of a outlet for our emotions and for all that stuff, it kind of connects us better with other people, and music in general can really help people process emotions, but then also like get hyped up and excited. And I don't know, I feel like we don't experience that type of thing often
Mm,
anymore. And when we do experience it, it's almost like overwhelming, and it's a real experience, because so many of us experience life online, or we live vicariously through other people online. But when we actually experience something and we feel those emotions, it's you feel that connection. And I think that's something that's unique and we need more of potentially.
100%. Yeah, 100%. Yep.
But I know you're on tour right now, and you gave me some tour dates that I'm going to also list off for anybody who might be in the area, because I think it's like really cool when you can support Catholic artists. And even if somebody listening maybe has a connection or something to Focus or somewhere else, it's like let them know that there are Catholic bands out there who
Mhm.
do want to cater to the generations. And for King and Country, I know is a huge artist. They're a Protestant band, I believe, but they played at NCYC when I went in 2020 or
Okay.
2019. Yeah, I think it was, yeah, pretty sure.
Was it
But
amazing?
oh, I'm sorry, what?
Was it amazing? Oh, did you go?
Yeah,
Or
I did go. Yes, and it was, how do I explain it? It was so like they had the drums, they had like the lights, and it really did feel like an actual concert.
right.
And I think that is like what you're saying is it's like we need that for actual Catholic artists, because even if it's a small niche of people who are creating music like you do, or are actually good Catholic artists who want to get their music out there, there are still a good niche of people there that you can build up, and they can kind of take Catholic music to a whole other level. And I feel like you guys just aren't given those opportunities to do that.
Mhm. Yeah,
So
absolutely.
that'd
Yeah,
be really cool if you guys could
and
do
it
that.
it doesn't even have to be me. Like I always say that to people. Like I can name 5 great Catholic bands who would do so well. Um, yeah, they are out there. We don't know where they are, where they're hiding.
Well, it's hard when you're
Mhm.
getting buried on top of everything else that's, it's so hard to be discovered as a Catholic artist. You're already blacklisted from Hollywood, and then on top of that, it's not like people are seeking out this specific type of music because they don't know it exists almost.
Mhm. Yeah, and on that note, if I can do a little plug, our record
Yeah,
label has a Spotify playlist. It's called Catholics Unearthed, and it's basically just all the Catholic artists that we like who they're not writing praise and worship, but they're writing, yeah, kind of more of the music that we've been discussing today. And there's a big range on there. Obviously, myself and my husband David are on there, but there's a girl from New Zealand called Valere who writes like R&B, and yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, I'm looking
awesome.
it up
There's rock bands, Dear Other, Claymere, um, Margaret Knapp, who's like a more of a solo vocalist, although she certainly has a band that plays with her, and her music's beautiful and melodic. And yeah, there's lots of different bands on there. So
I'll
yeah,
definitely go. I
Mhm.
have it saved now, and that's on Spotify, and it's Catholics Unearthed.
Yep, yep.
Perfect. Yeah. I think a lot of people are going to look into that because I definitely think it's something that they didn't know existed, but now they're like intrigued, they're going to be like, "Oh, what's that sound like?"
Yeah, and it's cool as well to listen to an artist where it's like you don't have to worry about, like I was telling you, this new band Time. I feel like they just get more and more sexual as the years go on, and their latest album is like it's good, but a lot of the songs I'm like, oh man, I don't know if I can sing this song about. It's good to listen to an artist and know like that won't happen because they're practicing Catholic, and even if the themes aren't Catholic, like it's still Catholic in the sense that it's good and wholesome.
And it'll be appropriate for everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you won't have to worry about it. But yeah, I think it's definitely one of those things that now that hopefully it's becoming more, I don't want to say mainstream, but like more people, there's more awareness around like people like you who are putting out Catholic music that's not explicitly on the nose Catholic. I think that's going to intrigue a lot of people. Because it intrigued me. I didn't even know. And then, I started listening to your music and I was just like, dude, I had no idea. Like, that's so good.
Yeah,
Um,
cool.
so yeah, I definitely think that's great. And yeah, you're currently on tour for your album I Can Read Minds.
Mhm.
So for anyone listening, you guys can go see Emma live where you are. She's going to be in Charlotte, North Carolina on September 26th. She'll be in Knoxville, Tennessee, September 27th, Nashville, Tennessee, September 28th, and then Steubenville, Ohio, October 3rd, Portland, Oregon on October 4th, Milwaukee, Wisconsin on October 7th, and then Cincinnati, Ohio on November 7th. And I will have your basically your tour schedule on my Instagram too, so people can find it, so they can just kind of, because I'm only giving a couple dates as opposed to like what your actual tour schedule is. And I feel like there are a lot of people who are, hey, if you have the opportunity to see a Catholic artist in person, like people will take the opportunity.
This episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. Psst, healthcare pros, word's out, and it's too good to keep quiet. Look, LinkedIn is revolutionizing job hunting, making it possible to search by specialty, shift preference, and salary. Endless scrolling is out. Whether it's a mental health therapist or dental hygienist, finding the perfect role is faster and easier than ever. Head to linkedin.com/healthcare and start your search today. Switch to Shiseido Benefiance Wrinkle Smoothing Eye Cream and discover why people are calling it the best eye cream. A powerhouse formula that targets 5 types of eye area wrinkles. 96% of users saw reduced wrinkles and diminished dark circles after just 7 days. Shop Shiseido Benefiance Wrinkle Smoothing Eye Cream at Sephora and discover how change can happen in the blink of an eye. Consumer tested by 110 women.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
of
if you do
course.
come say good day. Come tell me you heard me here, and yeah.
Yeah. Hashtag I don't know what hashtags you guys use.
I don't think I've used a hashtag ever. I'm like not very social media. Yeah,
As
I'm not up with it. I could be probably using it way better, but
honestly, I at this point it's just kind of, social media is just a tool, it's just something to help get people on your stuff. But also speaking of that, we're doing a giveaway. So stay
yeah,
tuned
yep,
for that first week of October.
yeah, yeah. We're giving away a CD if you guys have a CD player, and a sweater, and my record label's beanie, some stickers, the whole shebang. So,
Yeah, I'm actually wearing your sweater right now.
and
I
what are you giving? You're giving away something as well, aren't you, Amber?
Yes, I'm giving away one of my limited edition rosaries and one of my St. Jude prayer mugs, the stoneware mugs. So I love
That's
those
awesome.
things.
Can you tell me, did you design them?
I did, yes. So I designed the
Awesome.
stoneware mugs. I love St. Jude. He's the patron saint of this ministry and everything that I've been
Awesome.
doing. I have a St. Jude prayer group. Like everything
Sweet.
is St. Jude here. We're called the
Love that.
Jude Crew. That's usually what I call my people, the Jude Crew.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then my limited edition rosary. I don't think I have it out right now, but it was inspired by Saint Maximilian Kolbe. So
Awesome.
I like to inspire my stuff around specific saints that are kind of like stalking me. I say at the
I
time,
love that.
it's like the stalking series, so to speak.
Hey, did you see that new Maximilian Kolbe film?
I did. Did you see it?
I didn't. Tell me everything about it.
Oh
Is it
my gosh.
great?
It is phenomenal. It is
Awesome.
so good. I got to see a premiere of it in Tennessee during an event, a conference. They let us see like the unfinished version of it before it got released to theaters, and this was like probably 6 months ago. Um, it was rough. There was like not a dry eye in
Oh,
that
right.
theater.
Man, awesome. That's great to hear. It's rare
Yeah.
you hear someone plug a Catholic film like that.
Yeah, and I think the
Yeah.
most amazing thing about it is it didn't it didn't feel Catholic. It felt
Mm.
like a movie. I don't know
Yeah.
how to explain that.
I think what I is what you're saying, like it was just an excellent film and it happened to be Catholic.
Basically, which is
Yeah.
what we need more of. I'm
Yep.
so sick and tired of, well, we literally just spent 45 minutes talking about it, but it's just like the fact that it's just like so on the nose Catholic. It's like just make a good film.
Yeah.
And I feel like we don't have that. So this is like one of the first films I've seen that's like Catholic and filmed really, really well. There have been others that I'm like, oh, this is pretty good. Um,
Mm. Good for
but
a Catholic film.
yes, exactly. Whereas this one was just like good, period. Like it's
Mm.
just a good film. So if there's a
Awesome.
theater near you or whatever, I definitely suggest seeing it.
Yeah, sweet. I
Very
feel
good.
like I live in Catholic land here in Steubenville. Surely it's somewhere. I need to look it up, but
There
yeah,
has to be at
I'd
least
love to
one
see it.
theater.
Totally.
No, I love that. But yeah, I love that film, and I think there are so many opportunities, and if that film gets enough funding, then there's going to be more films like it, which is why I've talked about it in different videos, and I've tried to like get more eyes on it because I'm like this needs to happen.
Awesome. That's cool. Oh, thanks for your review.
Yeah, of course. So if you ever get to see it, definitely let me know what you think of it. Send me a text, be like, oh, I cried or whatever.
I'll send you a photo of my face and I'll be like,
Yeah.
this is how much I cried.
Tears streaming down your face. It's just like it was so good. Yeah, it was great. All my friends who I suggest to go see it, they all cried. So bring tissues.
Oh man. That reminds me of my old band in Australia, Heaps Good Friends. We have this one song called Cry Like a Psycho. And
Uh-huh.
for some reason we thought it would be a good idea to like have a film clip of us like crying, like a music video of us crying. And but I was like, no, let's not do the fake cry thing. Let's just try and actually cry. And I remember Nick sent me a screenshot of him. He had like a bad day at work and he had been crying. And I was like, this is so vulnerable. Like, why did I ever think this would be a good idea?
I love that.
I feel like there's a lot of like humor music videos where people are like, you know, crying because they broke up with their girlfriend or something. But like to see it real was just like, this is so like, I don't know,
The
reverent or
raw
something.
emotion.
Yeah. Anyway, but it's great when a movie makes you do that. So yeah.
Yeah. It's the creativity, and it's not just because it's like the way it is. It's actually good, and the storytelling is so well done and everything. And it's like, yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
So if you ever see it, let me know. And if anybody else has seen it who's listening to this podcast, comment, because I'd love to know what you thought about it as
Yeah.
well. But yeah, no, I guess that's basically it. Thank you so much, Emma, for coming on and for sharing your story and your music with us.
Thank you for having me. It's great to talk about music, and yeah, I appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. And where can my listeners find you, find your band, anything like that?
Sure. So just if you just look up Emma Fradd, EMMAFRADD on Spotify or anywhere you stream. If you look me up on Instagram under the same like handle at Emma Fradd, there's a little link if you want to buy some of the physical music or any other merch. But yeah, you can follow me on Instagram. I usually do some videos of myself playing and information about tour dates and silly memes as well. And if you want to visit our record label website, it's just enemyloverecords.com. And you mentioned it before, but that Catholics Unearthed is the name of the playlist on Spotify of just Catholic musicians we love that don't fit the cookie cutter. Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, I'll also put all of that in the show notes so people can easily just like click the links and
Sweet.
find it too. Yeah. But no, thank you so much. I think this will really resonate with a lot of people, and hopefully I'll even get to see you in concert at some point, because I was literally there in Ohio, but I wasn't at Chesterton's when you were playing. And I was just like, ugh.
No worries.
But
I'm
one
sure.
day.
Do you
One
come
day.
to Steubenville often?
Yeah, not too often, but a lot of our friends are there now. So now we'll be making more trips there. And my husband's family lives in West Virginia. So it's literally
Oh,
like
awesome.
an hour. So we're like, we could stay with
Ah,
friends and then see
so
parents. And
you're
yeah,
you're like one step away from just moving here.
basically, we have a lot of friends that are like trying to drag my husband there slowly. It's
Awesome.
great.
Yeah. Well, if you're ever in town, we'd love to have you over for a steak if you're into that.
I love
And
steak.
yeah, it'd be great to meet you in person.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We would love that. That'd be so fun. And yeah, hopefully we can do an interview in person at some point too then.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Emma, for coming on. And yeah, we'll see where things go from here.
Sounds good.
All right. And with all of that being said, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast episode and I will talk to you guys in the next one. Bye.